Okay, this is me part 2. I put on the Viltrox 20 millimeter. Yeah. I think it's a Viltrox. Yeah, it's a Viltrox. Okay, wonderful lens, tiny. It's at 4K 60, 100 megabytes per second. I am now going to walk around, show you how stable it is, and then I'm going to include the different stabilizations on. So I'm just walking around. I just cut the grass. And he was chasing the lawnmower all over the place. So let's walk around. What you're looking at is, if you're looking for any shakiness, of course this lens does have a little flaring. It is just before sunset, so I'm walking around. I'm looking at all the holes that he's digging out, so I'm going to have to cover that back up. But you see, it's pretty stable, all right? No active stabilization on. And this is working out pretty good. Okay, so let's turn on the first standard stabilization and go from there. Standard stabilization. No crop. As I can see, there's no crop, but 4K 60. See, wide field of view. This is a full frame lens, okay? So the first part of video, I'm going to have the Viltrox 20 millimeter with the different crops or different stabilization added to the crop. And then I'm going to put an APS-C lens, which Peter Gregg likes to do, probably 11 millimeter. And I'll leave it in full frame mode so that every time you crop, you don't see the vignetting around the lens, since it's an APS-C lens. And but that's for later. Okay, so this is standard. We do a twirl. It looks pretty stable, doesn't it? Now let's go to active. Okay, so a little crop, but you see I got a wider field of view behind me and I'm walking around. And it's partly, it's almost a cloudless sky. There's some clouds, but I thought it might rain, but it didn't. Grass is looking good. I need to trim the edges. I thought I did, but I have to go back and do it. But anyway, look how stable it is, okay? No software needed. Everything built into the camera. And Sony is known not to have good stabilization. Well, the Sony A7CR is doing a pretty good job. So let's go to the dynamic active stabilization. Okay, like I said, best stabilization for the lens. I'm cropped more, but you see with the 20 millimeter, you still see the background quite a bit. Okay. 16 millimeter I've used it before on a different video. Gives me a wider field of view, works great, but it was one of the first lenses. So this is a Viltrox, third party, and it's working on a Sony with stabilization. Looking good. So what I'm going to do is, this is the first part of this video. I'm going to put it right back down here. So you see? And I'll bring it up a little bit. 4K 60 is fine. short clips. Everything is stable. I've showed you without any stabilization all the way to the dynamic active. Looks pretty good, especially when you have a wide field of view. This is a 20 millimeter, f2.8. So let's now go to a secret weapon, and I'll take off the 4K stabilization. I will not have it in crop mode. It'll be off. And I'm going to put an APS-C lens, and then you're going to be shocked. This is the tiniest lens in the what I have. It's about just a little bit wider than my thumb, and it's a 16 millimeter. 4K 60 active stabilization. And I'm walking outside just to show you that even with an older lens that doesn't have any stabilization, this camera is doing a pretty good job. Come on. In and out, in and out. Okay. 4K 60, dynamic active on. See, it's a wider field of view. And you see, it's pretty stable. I can do twists, turns. You don't see anything shaking. And this is one of the older lenses, the first lenses that came out with the Sony E-mount. Well, besides the NEX ones, but anyway, this is 16 millimeter. Dynamic active, 4K 60. Looks good, doesn't it? Look at the wide field of view. So I can do a podcast and stuff, interview someone, and you can see both people talking, and it's a perfect lens. And then you can bring it in a little bit closer to get it kind of like the crop that you were seeing on the full frame. But if I hold it back, it looks much better. So now I'm going to blow your mind. This next lens was, well, I'm going to surprise you. So what you see here is the secret weapon that Sony has. I got the 11 millimeter APS-C lens, f1.8, on this Sony A7CR. Look, and I have dynamic active, okay? Stabilization on. I'm going to turn off all of the stabilization, and then you're going to see how tiny I become. And then you're going to see some vignetting. So I look real tiny, don't I? 4K 60, no stabilization on. Let's walk around. Now, you see a little vignetting around the sides. The reason why I'm showing you this is I look real tiny, I look far away, but at 4K 60, I want to show you something. This looks stable. No stabilization on. That's what I want to talk about, is why a lot of people like the 4K 60, but they don't like the crop, whatever. Well, they want the stabilization. They want to remove the juddiness and stuff around the sides and the front, and it's smooth. So this is HS mode, 422, 10-bit, 4K 60. No stabilization. Now let's go to the next one. Standard. You still see a little vignetting, but as I crop, you're going to see it disappear. Now, does it look any more stable? Or does it look the same? See? And I'm walking around. And I'm glad it's getting cooler. It's like 90 degrees now. Okay, let's go to active. What you see is active, and the vignetting's almost gone completely. But if I do this, you'll see a little bit of it. Okay? But still, 11mm crop sensor camera. Look how stable it is, and you get a wide field of view. This is what Peter Gregg was talking about. It is, hey, you can put a crop sensor camera on here, especially on a Sony A7CR, which should bring it back from 32 to, I don't know, 33 megapixels. Still looks good. This is like his Sony A7C II and the FX2 right now, with the 11mm on there. Exactly. That's why I got this camera. Doesn't have a fan, but I got a Luansi fan that I can put on there, but don't need to if you do in short clips. But look how stable it is. Okay? Now I'm going to put it back on the dynamic active, and then you'll see the vignetting completely gone. And there you have it. Completely gone. It's stabilized. I have not used any software. And that's why I picked this camera over the A7C II or the FX2, because I like it. Now if they came out with a fan, make it like the call it the A7CRF with a fan, I don't know, or you know, for the video, whatever. This is good, okay? Tinier, more megapixels, great camera, love the color science. I can keep it on lucky. And you see, that's a great picture, 4K 60. So I'm going to come back here, twist it around, and say, my point is, you have flaws in every camera. You just find a way to work around them. This camera's doing good. I've showed you that without any third-party software just to fix the stabilization, you don't need to. It's all in the camera. So I showed you with 28mm earlier this morning, and I showed you with the 20mm on the first part of the video. Now with the 11mm APS-C lens right now. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Bye folks. Have a wonderful day.